how does child support get paid if my ex goes to jail? I'm Tulsa attorney James Worth, and that is the question that we have is, how do I collect on my child support if my ex goes to jail? And the answer is, generally speaking, you can't. It's going to be difficult. Okay, so child support is a judgment. It's an automatic judgment. So you can try to enforce it and collect on that judgment just like any other civil judgment, except it's actually usually easier for child support. So that means that you can garnish wages. But if somebody's in jail, there's not going to be any wages to garnish. It means that you can levy bank accounts. If they've got a bank account in their name, you could put a levy on that. So that may or may not be applicable to somebody who's in jail. If they're getting a tax return, you can request through DHS, if DHS is involved, that they try to intercept funds from a federal tax return. That may be applicable to somebody who's in jail, may not be applicable. If they have assets in real estate, you can try to go after those assets, put a lien on that real estate. So those are ways that you could collect it. Generally speaking, if we're trying to collect on somebody who's not paying child support, the easiest thing to do is garnish wages. If they're not working, next thing is going to be a contempt citation, where you allege they're violating the court order and they should be thrown in jail for up to 6 months if they don't get caught up. That works pretty well for people that are out, and the world doesn't work as well for people that are in custody. So probably not going to work in that scenario. So practically speaking, for cases that we see where the opposing party ends up going to jail, it can be very difficult to collect on the child support while they are in jail, because most of the time they don't have those assets lying around, they're not working, and they don't care about a contempt so much. However, child support is never discharged in bankruptcy, and it never goes away, doesn't expire. So child support will continue to accrue, although if they're in prison for a long enough amount of time, I believe after 6 months under a new law, it now puts a hold on that child support. But regardless, the back child support is still going to be out there. Future child support when they're out of custody, or if they were in custody less than 180 days, when they get out, it's going to be there waiting for them, and you're going to have those same means to try to enforce once they're out of custody. So hopefully that answers your question related to that issue. If you have other issues related to family law in Oklahoma or other legal issues in Oklahoma, you're going to want to talk to an attorney about that privately and confidentially. To get that scheduled with an attorney at my office, you can go online to makelawEasy.com.